Good evening, ladies and gentle bats. It's your friend, Saroni. Now, I have a question for a couple of you chumps out there, huh? Which one of yous decided to have Mr. Dion over here talk about things that affect your lives? That's not what the show's for. So, I will require you to stop it. Because I know a lot of people who know a lot of people, if you know what I mean. So let's just keep it kid friendly over here, huh? Talk about the good old days, the basketball games, the ice cream sales, and, hey, maybe show a little bit of local support for your churches, huh? Come on, don't focus on all this mumbo jumbo over here. It's too politically coarse. It could offend a lot of people. And at the end of the day, it could step on the wrong toes. Good night, friends. Good night, and may you sleep tight. And hopefully, the bed bugs don't bite. Good morning, you fucking beautiful people, you. And welcome to episode 9 of Generation Rising. Blue, 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 blah, 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 blow, blow, blow. Yeah, I think that's just gonna be the new intro song. That was fucking amazing. Hello. Sorry about Saroni. You know, I bought some Girl Scout cookies off him one time, and now I can't get the guy out of my house. He just keeps coming in and telling me what I can and can't say, like he owes me, like he owns me or something. You know, that's the problem with America. You know, you buy one thing off somebody, and next thing you know, you're just in this weird relationship of salesperson and regular person, and things are confusing. And next thing you know, they bring over bottles of wine, they bring over flowers, and now you got to do the nitty gritty. Let's not even get into that. Let's push forward. So, last week, we talked about the huge mass incarceration problem in Indiana and rural counties abroad. So if you missed that show, I'd suggest you go back and take a gander at that, folks. All right? Don't wind up in prison on me, okay? I need you guys out here listening. You know, I don't know if you guys can listen to things in prison. I've never been there. I know people, but I've never been there myself, so I don't know if you can listen to it or not. I mean, if you can listen to it, you know, all right, well, whatever. Okay. So 2 topics I want to cover today that are fairly important, I would say. They're going to cover 2 things, Saudi Arabia and the Dakota Access Pipeline, which we keep hearing so much about. Now, I'm sorry if you hear a train in the background. I live like 100 feet from a fucking train. Tracks. Not cool. So hopefully this doesn't bleed through because I'm going to have to re-record this if it does. Yeah, so how's the week been? Huh? Come on. Tell me your problems. Tell me your issues. Big Daddy Dion's going to fix them for you, all right? Don't worry about it. Okay, so just to give you a heads up. Man, fucking air brakes. Just to give you a heads up on the things to come, okay? So like I told you guys last week, me and a buddy of mine, we're going to Whole Foods. We're collecting prices ranging from all different types of food groups. Then we're going to go to another local grocery chain around here. And then we're going to go to another one, and we're going to acquire all this data. So I don't know how long this is going to take, okay? It could take a day. It could take 2 weeks. I don't know, all right? But the findings should be very significant, okay? They should be very significant. And next thing you know, I start recording, and we got fucking garbage trucks passing, and now I got trains coming. Okay, let's chill it out here. Yeah, so that's a good thing, right? My buddy Lee, my little political correspondent over here, he's going to get his little headset. We're going to do some things and talk about things, a lot of things that you guys might like, might not like. I don't know, and I got to stop this recording. Oh, yay. The train has finally passed with its tons and tons of high fructose corn syrup, which, as you all know, us Americans, we love it. I love it. Whatever. Okay, so let's get right into the topics then, because that just threw me all off, but not a big deal, because Dion can bounce back. All right? So, number 1, let's talk about Saudi Arabia. So, I just found a documentary on Netflix, which I find a lot of documentaries that I love on Netflix. It's called Saudi Arabia Uncovered, and it's a British documentary. It's only about 51 minutes long, so I advise you to check it out. It's really amazing because the whole free speech thing, which we completely take for granted over here, deserves to be talked about a lot more. Because, I mean, look at me. I'm one voice among millions of voices. I post one video in the millions of videos hoping that it can find barely somebody, but everybody's talking right now. The whole world's talking. I got radio shows going on. We got Sports Center commentators going on. We got CNN going on. The whole America as a whole is just blabbing at the mouth, talking, 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 nonstop, 24/7. And we can say whatever the hell we want as long as it doesn't like bring about like a threat towards a person or yell a fire in a movie theater. But I mean, you can basically have an opinion on what you want. I mean, I see religious zealots all the time, threaten to kill gay people and do things like that so they don't get in trouble. But so everybody has a thing, okay? Well, over here in Saudi Arabia, that's not a thing. You can't do that. So it covers a couple of political activists, and actually one of them who I did some research on, his name is Raif Badawi, who was born in 1984, and he was in prison for 10 years to 1,000 lashes and 10 years in prison because he created the Free Saudi website, and he was charged with apostasy, which if you guys don't know what apostasy means, it means a conscious abandonment of a Muslim, of a constant abandonment of Islam by a Muslim in a word through deed. So he just said something, right? He just got up on his website, which probably he created himself because he's an animal and he's a beast. And he just speaks certain things that I guess for some reason Saudi Arabia doesn't like, oh, I don't agree with chopping people's heads off. 10 years, don't you say that. Chopping people's heads off of what we do over here. So yeah, he gets 10 years, and his wife, Ansaf Haidar, I'm probably butchering those names, and I really apologize if I am. I just don't know, she took refuge in Canada, and they have like 2 daughters and 1 son, so he has 3 children that he hasn't seen, barely talks to. His health is failing. That's all they know. They get like 1 phone call every. It's very depressing, and it's not like he did something wrong or he did something heinous or corrupt or whatever you want to call it. He didn't do anything. He just said, oh, I don't like the fact that we murder people for talking, just talking. Oh, well, okay, 10 years, buddy. 10 years. So, and the other one is Aza al-Shamasani. Now, she was a woman who gained a lot of attraction. I didn't really get the year. This is a pretty recent documentary, though. But she took pictures of herself driving a car, and that was punishable by prison, and she faced a long sentence. She ended up getting out of it, and she's actually trying to run because I guess they open up the political spectrum to women being able to run as political leaders, which is a great thing. That's a good thing. Little progress is better than no progress, I assume. So, but yeah, she posted it on like some social media site, and as soon as she got to the roadblock, I think it was from Pakistan into Saudi Arabia. She was at the roadblock trying to get in, and she was like, "Oh, let's see what's going to happen." She posted like a little 15-second clip or whatever. Yeah, arrested. No, that's not going to happen. You're not going to have women drivers here. You know what? I don't know, man. That might be a good law. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Don't kill me on that one, all right? So yeah, I mean, just let's not take for granted the mere fact of what we can talk about and how we can say it over here. Like I said, I don't really reach that many people yet, you know what I'm saying? But I'm over here in my little room that I pay rent for, and I work a job, and I can have any kind of sort of opinion I want to on whatever I want to. And it can't be punished. That's an awesome thing. That's a good thing to celebrate. So don't take for granted the fact that you can not only get 10 years in prison like Raif Badawi, but you can get 1,000 lashes. Get all of your lashes that you deserve. You get whipped by a stick in public. People are watching and they're cheering and shit. They're like, oh yeah, yay, cool, this is awesome. I don't know. I don't get the culture. I don't get the prevalence of it. They probably don't have good TV over there. They don't probably have MTV and Hollywood E or whatever, So I guess I don't blame them from going out and trying to watch stuff. But it's just kind of weird because you're not allowed to film over there in public either. And here you are, you see these guys with these little shitty cell phones, and they're trying to peek in between 2 people so they barely get seen, because if they get seen, they get in prison. They have a group of people that are just the definition of professional trolls, I swear. They're called the religious police over there. and they literally just go around and just like if people aren't in prayer, they start screaming at them. Like there's this one video where these guys are in like a subway, right? They're in a subway eating a food, like drinking coffee, eating a food. Yeah, what the hell? Eating food and drinking coffee. And these guys just run up and they start yelling at them. They're like, "What are you guys doing not in prayer, man? Go to prayer, bro. What the fuck?" Like you can't even do that. They follow people around in like the malls of shopping out there. And if you're like dressed not a certain way or you're just like taking too long at the register, they're just like, "Oh man, this is ridiculous. This is a freaking insult to Muhammad and Allah, you piece of shit." Like, I would hate to. I hope there's not no pot smokers over there, man, because you're already paranoid as you are on pot, and then you got fucking people that pop up in strange places. Hey, breaking the law, bro. Breaking the law. You want to go to prison, bro? Huh? Like, what do you mean? I got sandals on. What are you talking about? Yeah, that's the issue. You got sandals on. Read the book. Read the Quran. Come on. Get your head out your ass. Yes. So, okay. So here's the thing into where I get into this whole government thing. Okay. So they're a big ally of the United States and Britain. Like I said, this is a British documentary, so it's filmed and geared towards that way more, Britain more. So Britain sells a lot of military things to Saudi Arabia. I mean, they're the fourth strongest military in the world, Saudi Arabia. They sell them planes, bombs, guns, whatever they do. They actually were training police officers there and guards to how to like control prison populations and make sure you maintain the safety and human decency of a prison, which they do not do. There's been pictures and many things shown that they like. There's this one insane video of the prisoners. They get a hold of this guy and they're just like hanging him from the roof, and he's just swaying back and forth. And they're like, "Yeah, you gonna do that again, bro? No, you're not." And he just swings. He's like, "Let me down, man." I'm like, "This is like hurting. I'm getting dizzy." And they're like swinging him around. It's a fucking zoo. So, yes, and that's the issue that we have. Is not only the fact that these governments, they know for a fact that this is going on, that they're violating human rights at an enormous endeavor. They like mass execute like 47 people in one time, cut their heads off. They take these long giant swords that are sharp as hell, one swing of the blade and the head comes completely off. And that is an ally. That is an ally of ours. And so here's the thing is, I guess we can all be grown-ups and we can all say, for example, if you are being in politics, you can make the excuse like I hear all the time is like, well, we're in the big leagues, so there's certain things that we got to give and take on, which I guess I can understand, right? I mean, you can't just alienate a country or whatever, even if it violates moral and ethical principles for some damn reason. But yeah, okay, I can see that. But they did something here that really ticked me off. And what they did was they put Saudi Arabia on the United Nations Commission on Human Rights. That's a smack in the face. How do you do that? You already know that they are violating human rights. You have to be, for whatever reason, you have to have them as an ally because of their oil. Just something else. I don't even know what the hell you got to be. They're under Sharia law. The exact definition of Sharia law is governed by a religious prophecy as opposed to human legislation. So you can do a minor offense there, whether it be you're stealing bread because you're poor, you got to go in front of a bunch of religious clerics who read this ancient text that has no bearing, nothing to do with your life, and you can be sentenced to have your hand chopped off, to be put in prison for vast amounts of time that just don't even make sense. It has nothing to do with human legislation. It's all governed by the prophecy. So it's however they interpret these ancient texts. Like, it might not even say, it might say, well, you shouldn't steal, man. Like, I should forgive you, but I'm having a bad day today, so give them 10 years, and they do it. They do it all the time. Now, there's 8 countries in the world that, including Saudi Arabia, that live under the Sharia law, and that's one of ISIS's main points, is they want a caliphate. They want a religious ordinance instead of a human legislation. So that's what we're opposed to, because, that's devastating to a people. So, 15 of the 19 of the terrorists were Saudi Arabia on 9/11. So I hate to keep bringing this up. 15 years ago. So let's not acknowledge that. It just recently got passed through Congress this week that now the families of the dead and the deceased of that day can actually go after the Saudi government due to the fact that the 15 of the 19 terrorists were Saudi Arabia. Okay, now in the documentary, it also exposes a crucial point. The Al Haramain Islamic Foundation was caught laundering tons and millions of dollars to terrorist organizations, including Al Qaeda and Osama bin Laden. They disguise that through the 5 pillars of the Islamic faith or whatever, and the country in itself spends up towards the billions of dollars a year to spread the Islamic faith around the world. It's a dangerous ideology. It's a dangerous ideology that needs to be taken into consideration. To the fact of the matter is, even though they are on our side when they battle terrorism, do we really want any of them to win? Because they're all teaching the same things. Keep women oppressed. Make sure you live under Quran and Abrahamic law. I don't even know if it's Abrahamic law. Let me take that back because I don't know if it's Abrahamic law, but Sharia law. Live under religious ordinance and Sharia law. And that's it. Obey Allah. Be in total control and total humbleness to the great Prophet Muhammad. And it's a scary thing. It's not good. Next thing you know, we're going to go into the Dakota Access Pipeline. I did a lot of research on this, probably not as much as I should have, but I know it's been in the topic of the, not the mainstream media because, of course they're not going to really talk about that much, but basically the Dakota Access Pipeline was supposed to be a 1,172 mile, 30-inch diameter pipeline of oil going from North Dakota to Illinois. It was supposed to be able to support 470,000 barrels a day. Now, Standing Rock, on this Standing Rock Sioux Reservation, a whole bunch of people gathered together and made sure they halted the construction of it because it threatened one of their main and sole water sources at Lake Oahe. I think that's it. So, and during the construction of this pipeline, they also ran over this amazing archaeology stuff, and they ran through a graveyard. And they said they didn't know it because during the court proceedings, the Army Corps of Engineers said that they relied on a 1985 survey of the land. That's 30 years old, bro. What the hell are they doing? Almost a half a century old. They're relying on half a century old things. The government of our country, when they do a construction project, they rely on 30-year-old data. That's insane in its own right. So yeah, that was one of the main things. A federal judge, I believe it was on Friday, said that the construction could continue. Then the Obama administration got in and was all no. Because they have this thing that was implemented, I believe it was implemented in 2014. It's called the National Environmental Policy Act. And it was geared towards the fact of all energy companies taking into consideration climate change and other renewable sources and renewable energies that we should be partaking in, but we're not for some reason because we just have an addiction to crude oil, natural gas, methane substances, and it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, this is when Obama stepped in and halted the construction until they could figure out what to do about this pipeline going by the Lake Oahe. This is what the Midwest Alliance for Infrastructure now said. They said, quote, "It is deeply troubling and could have a long-lasting chilling effect on private infrastructure development in the United States." Make whatever decision you want to on your own about that. That kind of makes me irate. Because the fact is, the roads are getting worse, the bridges are getting terrible, the schools are outdated. We're relying on still dinosaurs from the ground to run our machines and cars and all that, and they're more concerned about keep building these pipelines. So is this the next Keystone, they said? I'd say it's even bigger than Keystone. But we stopped Keystone, so maybe at the end of the day we have a chance to stop this. We know for a fact they can say whatever they want to, that this pipeline is not going to bust. It probably will bust. And at the end of the day, it's not going to be them, the company and the oil manufacturers. It's not going to. They have no skin in this game. So what? So what? They always say this. So what? So what? The pipe burst. So what? It's not my land. It's not my water. Oh, what are you going to do? Fine me $3 billion? Oh my God, how dare you fine me $3 billion? I'm not going to go to jail. My business is not going to stop, and business is going to keep going on as usual. It boggles my mind the fact that corporations can get away with so much these days. And if you try it, as a person over there, you try something, you're going down, man. You're going down. Like I said in many other things, if you get caught selling 15 oxycodone pills in Indiana, you're going away for a very long time. But if you build a pipeline to bring about sewage and disgusting crude oil through a water source of a town which heavily depends upon this water source, and it breaks, Oh, you just need money? That's all we need? That's all we're talking about here? That they're going to take you to court, they're going to sue you for the money, and oh, I'm going to pay the medical bills to a couple people? Oh, man. Oh, man, I got to take money out of my $50 billion profits a year. I guess so, man. I guess so. Fuck, I'm so sorry. It's disgusting. It's very disgusting. So let's stand up to these guys. There's a lot of people that are going out there. There's a lot of movement and getting involved and stopping these people to standing. I mean, they're doing amazing. There's people from all walks of life coming out there, standing up for what's right and getting the job done. Because last week, which I failed to mention on the show, they sick dogs on people. Big old canine dogs. That is the scariest thing ever. Dogs, really? Like German shepherds? Man, you might as well. I would rather have riot gear and be tased and tear gas and all that stuff. I've been in protests before, but I mean, the dogs came out, dude. They're locking onto your arm. They're locking onto something. They're not letting go. You could beat the hell out of them for whatever reason. They're going to tear you apart. Those things are vicious, man. I can't stand cop dogs. I've seen this one video one time. Oh man, dude, this dog six. The police officer goes into this guy's house, and he's like, "Stand down, stand down." The kid's standing down. He's like, "I don't got anything." He sits down. The police officer accidentally lets go of the leash. The dog clamps on this poor guy's face, and it takes 2 to 3 officers, after many seconds of struggling, to release the dog's mouth off of his face. And then he just bites him a couple more times too as soon as he gets off him. Oh my god, those things are insane, vicious things. They were used in war, and they were very good at killing people, very good at jumping on people and biting the throats and ripping their jugglers out. Very good at it. So, yeah, there's human atrocities on all fronts. But as is tied into the Saudi Arabia thing, is I have the right to call my country or tell my country and say to my country it's making a bad decision. And I'm not going to be crucified for it. I might be crucified by some of you in the social media spectrum for being too anti business, and I don't know what you guys could come at me with, but I'm pretty sure you guys can make something up really well. But over there in Saudi Arabia and other countries in the world that don't have the free speech laws that we have over here, you're facing jail time, you're going away, you're losing control of your family, you're losing control of your finances, and you're treated as a slave. You're going to work camps. I mean, you're doing insane amounts of dirty deeds that you would have never done, all for just speaking the wrong thing. So, yes, this country has done many great things right. But as long as we have the voice and the will to do things, we should do it. We should do it. This goes out to everybody out there. All of us have a cause that we care about. Whether it be cancer from a family member that we all know and we all have, or whether it be obesity's been running into, or maybe it's been drug-related addiction that has been climbing and claiming your family for centuries, or not centuries, Jesus, generations, excuse me. We all have something that we care deeply about. And we only live for a very short amount of time. So the time that we live, we should be focusing on aspects and things that vastly affect us instead of just standing by. We are a big nation full of 300 million powerful men, women, and children abroad who have the capacity to change the world in a single day. Let's do it. Let's do it. Whether we speak out against political corruption, whether our fight's in the fact of taking money out of politics, whether our fight is to bring about renewable energy sources, whether our fight is to reduce factory farming, whether our right is in whatever it is in. May your art shine out. May your music play very loud. May you irritate people. That's the only way that you're going to get things through, is by irritating people, by stepping on the wrong toes, by doing the right things to get the job done. It's all about that. That's what it's all about. You're not going to get anywhere and move anything forward by just, saying a few things over here and just going back to your regular days of work and don't listen. When you stand in solidarity with people, and I advise all of you people out there to watch Immortal Techniques video. It's like a 2-minute clip of him arriving all the way from Harlem with $1,000 worth of goods for the people of Standing Rock. And he says, hey man, it's not about me. I'm just here to stand in solidarity with these people. I'm a soldier. It has nothing to do with what I want. It's not me in the decision-making process. This has nothing to do with me. But they need me to come down there. They need certain things from me. I'm going to get it. I'm going to give it to them. That was beautiful, man. That's beautiful. That's awesome. That's what every American should be like. Is there's a bunch of causes out there. A bunch of things that we can do. And whether it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. We're all humans. We're all going to the same grave. Whether we graduated college, whether we work a simple factory job, whether we're writers, whether we're artists, it doesn't matter. We're all going into a grave. The goal of this life, for whatever reason you want to call it, is to make sure that your children and your family can live comfortably after you're gone. That's always what it's been about, and for some reason I think we've lost that. It's about getting and exploiting as much as we can out of this land, out of this business, and then leaving it to ruin after you leave. It doesn't matter if you leave it in good hands or not, because you got everything you needed out of it. So you can skate away and go hide in your cave and live out the rest of your days. But your children and your people, they can suffer tremendously for it. Oh, and it's on them. It's their job to make it right. It's not my job. I already did my time. Passing the next torch on to the next generation is the hardest thing that has ever been and came about in this world. And I know I'm stumbling through a lot of this speech. I just got so much tremendous amount of emotion into this. So I'm stumbling through it, and I'm very sorry if it's very irritating here. But it's very, very vital and important. When you hand over the next torch, you're not just giving the next generation a boatload of issues that they have to deal with and bogs them down to the point where even if they live out their life, they'll at best just remove some of the issues, but not be able to live comfortably. I have a huge issue knowing that my skin is in the game by the mere fact that my daughter is going to be plagued by climate laws that would have never affected my life. At the end of the day, it will never affect my life. Who knows what we're going to run into? Are there going to be child laws being like how many children you can have? Is there going to be just mass amounts of taxes raised on poor people in order to fight global climate change? We don't know. But as far as you 40 and 50-year-olds, you guys are probably not going to see that. But at the end of the day, these 20-year-olds and these teenagers that we're raising up and that we don't really give a shit about, they're the ones that are going to fight that. And they're either going to be angry about it, they're going to be happy about it, or they're just going to be whatever about it. But the mere fact of the matter is, our decisions today affect the generations of tomorrow. Lest we forget that this country, for the freedoms that we have, which are great freedoms that Saudi Arabia does not get to partake in, we cannot let the simple fact of the power that we have slip through our hands today, because it could change and alter the course of history forever. With that, I want to say adieu. Good night, you fuckers. Have a great time. Love you guys.
Thank you for listening to Generation Rising.